welcome to our MVP Live of the month. Today, we're going to be going over workflows. My goal is to hopefully cover everything about workflows. If we're not able to get through everything, we'll maybe do a part two. We'll see. If you have any questions, feel free to join us. I'm sorry, I was trying to read this comment. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A box. I'll be trying to answer them as I go along. We'll also have a Q&A at the end. So you can either save your questions for the end or feel free to ask them while we are going through it. All right. And also, as I mentioned, John is a professional workflows, and he's going to be doing a podcast with us here soon. So be on the lookout for that. Okay. So let's get started. If you're able to follow along on your screen, that would be great. If not, don't worry. We're going to report. This is being recorded, so we're going to upload it on our website as well. So in order to get to Workflows and Agency MVP, you're going to click your name at the top right and go to Workflows. Now, we have 3 types of workflows. The first one is API workflows. These are for your API leads, in other words, your internet leads that are coming directly into your agency MVP account. These workflows can only be automatically assigned. You cannot manually assign an API workflow. Again, you cannot manually assign an API workflow. The only way these work is for your integrated internet leads. They get assigned automatically. Custom workflows, these can be assigned to any household in MVP. And then X-date workflows, these are going to be based off of renewal dates. So these can go out up to 45 days before and up to 45 days after an X-date. And they can also go on for up to 2 years. Okay, so those are the different types of workflows. Also on this page, you'll see workflow templates, which this is where you can find templates that we've created that are just ready to use, essentially. So you do see we have one API template here. We also have a few custom and a few X-date templates ready for you to use. Now, raise your hand if you are purchasing internet leads. Okay, so why a few of you? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm showing you how to create a workflow using one of our templates. So very simple. You'll see the view button over here. This is going to show you a preview of what this workflow will look like. If you decide you want to use it, you can click the green Edit and Use Template button. All right, this is just a reminder about text notifications. Now, I would typically recommend that you name the workflow whatever that lead provider is, because if you have multiple lead providers you're purchasing from, you don't just want to have internet lead. You want to know which workflow is for which lead provider. So I'm just going to name this all web leads. And then over here where it says add marketing source condition, that is where you are going to choose your lead provider. This is also where you can see a list of all of the lead providers that we are integrated with at this time. So here I see all web leads. Another thing to note is that you cannot have more than one API workflow per lead source. So whether you're purchasing home or auto leads, they're all going to come in and use this workflow. Now, that's okay, because this workflow, this is just to get someone to respond to you, right? So this is just kind of trying to bait them in get them to respond so that you can send them a quote. Okay. So here we have all web leads. Now we have two different options here. And if you've been with us for a while, this one is fairly new. So it will default to distribute leads manually. And what that means is all of the leads that I'm purchasing from all web leads, those are all going to come in to my API leads call view page. Now, this page, every staff member will be able to see the leads that come in on this page, on the API leads page. And it will be up to you to determine how you want to split up those leads. I know some agents say they just do first come, first serve. Some agents say, no, I like to give, maybe like 5 to my experienced producer or 1 to start off to my new producer. So up to you how you distribute these leads. If you keep this option, you are going to want to select the names of the staff members that are going to be working these leads, so that if someone responds via text, all of these staff members get notified that there's a text response. The other option, well, hold on. Before I go back to the other option, let's talk about the email action settings. When you choose the distribute leads manually, that the lead is coming in without an owner, and that's why everyone can see them, you will want to choose who you want the reply to and the from here. So I normally recommend that the from is the agent's email address, just so that it can look like it's coming from the agent. But the reply to can only be to one person. So choose here someone that's going to be responsible in monitoring those replies, and if need be, dispersing, those replies to whoever they need to go to. Okay, now the other option. The other one is automatically distribute leads evenly. So this is our round robin option, so to speak. Here, you will select the staff members that you want to have these leads distributed to. Okay, so if I select these 3 people, that means that the first lead is going to go to Ashley, then James, then Jennifer, then Ashley, then James, then Jennifer. Those leads will go into the My API Leads call view page for that staff member. So we are automatically assigning the ownership to that staff member when the lead enters MVP. So now that lead is not going to be visible to everyone. Also, once we assign the ownership, now you don't have to worry about who the reply to will go to, who the phone will come from, because the reply to is going to go to whoever the owner of that household is. You can, if you would like, still choose the from here and then just leave the reply to blank so it goes to the owner. So up to you if you still want that from to show from the agent. All right. Next, let's go to the on failure settings. I recommend leave it to this default, which is skip action. And what that means is, let's say there's a bad phone number and you weren't able to send this text message. We're just going to skip and go to the next action. The other option would be halt workflow, which would mean if the phone number was bad, then we're just stopping it. We're not going to continue on to the next action, or vice versa. If the email is bad, we're stopping and not continuing to the next action. Okay, so that's how the settings work up here. It's pretty much the same for all the workflows, except you don't have the distribution option for like custom and X date, since those custom would be to someone that's already in your account. Next, let's talk about actions. So here we have action 1, SMS, that is a text message. So action 1 for this API lead is a text message. You want to be the first person to get a hold of this household. Everyone always has their phone on them, right? Either in their hand or next to them. So that's why we're sending out a text message first. And if you look here, we're sending it out immediately. So as soon as that lead enters agency MVP, we're going to send out a text message. Now, here in the action template, this is the message. Now, you'll see these little brackets. These brackets mean that we have used one of the variable fields to fill in that lead's information or to fill in your agency's information. So if the lead's name is Brittany, it's going to say, hey, Brittany, this is agency name. This is whatever's in your account information page. So it might say it's the Garza agency. We have received your request for a quote and we're working on it now. Would you prefer send it via text or email? Short, sweet, to the point. We don't want a super long text message. Just, how do you want me to send you your quote? So that's action 1. Then action 2 is going to be an email. Now, remember I said this is going to be the same workflow, whether it's auto leads or home leads. This workflow here does say auto. So if you are purchasing home leads, you may want to get rid of the word auto. Or if you're purchasing both home and auto leads. Now, if you're purchasing both home and auto leads, and there's a message that that has some variable fields like all drivers or all vehicles, don't worry, we're not going to send out this message without any vehicle information. So if there's a variable field in here that we're not able to fill in, we will just skip that action. Or if you want this email to go out regardless, you could just delete this paragraph. It's still going to make sense. We'll see here, this is being delivered 5 minutes after action 1. So the actions just continue to build upon each other. Action 3, 1 day after the previous action. Action 4, 1 day after the previous action, and so forth all the way until action 7. Now, we did recently release a custom signature option in Agency MVP. So if you have a workflow, if you had workflows already created before that you created before we released this new feature, you probably had your own signature here. So you probably wrote or put in here maybe user first name, and then agency name, and then agency phone number. That was probably what your signature looked like. If you are going to use our custom signature, which I highly recommend, you'll have to go back to those workflows that you created before. Make sure you delete this previous plain text signature, and then you're going to append your customized signature. And I'll show you guys where you can go to create that custom signature here in a few moments. The reason you want to delete this one, you don't want 2 signatures. So again, make sure you delete your old plain text signature if you're going to be using the custom signature option. You will have to do this for each email that you have in a workflow. Just do it one time and then you're good to go. Okay, so that's how to create a workflow from the templates. If you have an API workflow and you don't already have it switching to an X-State workflow, highly recommend that you have it switch. Because what that means is if someone goes through all 7 of these actions and the workflow was never halted, either manually or it was never halted automatically, then you want just to continue, right? So if you switch to an X-State workflow, let's say auto no contact, After all 7 of those actions are complete, we're going to start reaching out at their renewal date. And remember, that one goes on for up to 2 years. Yes, John is saying that is important. Okay, so let's see if anyone knows the answer to this question. In MVP, what automatically halts a workflow? If you know the answer, put it in the Q&A box. Yes, so Gabriella, that is one thing that will halt a workflow. Yes, Shay. So if someone replies via text message, no matter what they say, it can be send me a quote, or as Gabriella mentioned, it could be stop. That will halt a workflow automatically. Now, if they reply stop, we will uncheck the text consent box for you. If you want to text them again, make sure that you tell them to send you a message back to that phone number saying start. Okay? So any text response will automatically halt a workflow. The other thing that will halt a workflow is if you log a phone call as answered or inbound. Answered or inbound, because that means you have made contact. We don't need to continue this workflow any further. So any text response, logging a phone call as answered or inbound also halts a workflow. Okay. If they respond via email, we do not have access to your email. So we will not know that someone has responded to your email. So whoever that email comes to is going to be responsible for halting that workflow. And we'll go over that in a few moments as well. So I'll show you how to manually halt the workflow. So that's how you create a workflow from our templates. Again, pretty much the same steps there. Now, I know some of you are super creative and you want to create your own workflows. So if you would like to create your own workflow, let's talk about that. Over here on the left, you're going to either choose API, custom, or XState. Let's just go to custom. And let's say this one is a onboarding workflow that I want to create. Now, if the household already has an owner, remember those notifications will go to whoever the owner of that household is. So you don't really have to worry about the notification settings here, because if you're assigning an onboarding workflow, well, most likely that person is already has an owner. Okay, so same with email notifications. Now here, it does default to action 1 being an email. If you want it to be a text message, you can easily just X that out and add SMS action here. Here, you can type in your message. So we might say something like, hi, and we want to use the main contact's first name. We can say, welcome to the ward agency, and then continue on with your message. Okay? And then you're going to decide when you want to assign that first action. Now, for these custom workflows, with the time unit that you choose, so let's say day, and let's just put one day. That means this text message is going to go out 1 day after I assign the workflow. So you will have to manually assign this workflow, this onboarding workflow. After I assign it to that household, 1 day later, I want this text message to go out. Maybe I want to follow it up with an email. We can say something similar, put our contact information there if they ever need anything. And then again, the time unit is going to be based off of the previous action. So perhaps I want this email to go out 6 minutes after the text message because I want it to seem like I went to my computer and I typed it up all myself. Now, another option we have here that you can add to workflows are tasks. So you can add a task action. Maybe this task action is to make sure all documents are signed. And I want to title this Signed Docs. And I want this task to go to my CSR. And this task is going to be assigned to my CSR 1 day after that email got sent out. So that's also something that's pretty new and neat with MVP is being able to assign tasks to a workflow. Ideally, you can even create an entire workflow just for tasks. So once your workflow is complete, again, just save the workflow and now you're able to use it. The big thing to remember here is that timing. The timing is after the previous action. It continues to build upon the previous action. Okay, so we talked about how to create a workflow using a template, how to create one from scratch. The other thing I want to show you on this specific page are the workflow settings. So we do default all workflow messages to go out between Sunday and Saturday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. If you want to change that, this is where you can do it. You can maybe remove Sunday. Maybe you don't want messages to go out on Sunday. You can change the hours of the day in which they go out. So completely up to you how you want that to work. Also, holiday options. We have defaulted holidays here in which we will not send out any workflow messages. You can't change the default ones. However, you can add new holidays if you don't want messages to go out on Valentine's Day for whatever reason. You can add Valentine's Day there. You can also create your own holiday, so to speak. So if your office is going to be closed, maybe the day before or the day after Christmas, you can add that custom holiday so that no messages get sent out. So there's the add custom holiday option. Last option here, this is for the the owner of the MVP account. You can decide if you want to allow your team members to edit workflows that you have created. Or if you just, they'll still be able to create new workflows. They just won't be able to edit existing workflows that have been created. Okay, good question, Shay. So Shay asked, if you skip a day, does the workflow double down the next day? So let's say we paused the workflow and that next action didn't go out. It just will kind of line back up how it was supposed to go out. So it'll send that next message and then the one after will follow. So if it was supposed to be a day after, it'll still send it a day after. It won't send all of them that were supposed to go out during that pause, if that makes sense. Okay. Remember, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Okay. Next thing I want to show you guys is how to mass assign workflows from the call view pages. So I'm going to go over here to my prospects call view page. Now you can assign a workflow just to one household at a time. So for example, like a customer onboarding workflow, that's mostly going to be assigned one at a time. You can do that either from a call view page, from the call view page directly. So here you see that workflow tab. You can choose your workflow. You can also do it from the details page. Right over here, choose the workflow. Now, if you are wanting to mass assign some workflows, so one of my favorite workflow templates that we have is the lead re-engagement workflow. I would use that one If, let's say you have, like right here, I have 140 people that I'm supposed to call today. Well, ideally, I probably won't get through all 140 people, but I might still want to reach out to them. So in that instance, I can go to my lead re-engagement workflow and assign that. So right here where it says update multiple households, you can either select all, or you can go through and just manually select them. So if I already saw that there were some people on a workflow and I don't want to change that workflow, I might keep those people on whatever workflow is running and just assign it to those who are not on a workflow. Either way, you can either select all or select a few at a time. It will only select one page at a time. So I have 5 pages here. Select all does not select everyone on all 5 pages, just the people on that page. And then you can update the workflow. You'll choose which workflow you want to assign. Here we go. So I can pick my lead re-engagement workflow, and then I can apply. So that's how you would mass assign workflow. Yes, Kathy, there is a lead re-engagement template in your workflow templates. Okay, so now if you are wanting to see the history of a workflow or see what actions are coming up, what has gone on, there's 2 places where you can kind of see histories of workflows. First, you can see it from the call view page. You can also see it from the details page. Again, if I just click this little carrot here to the left of Kathleen, right here, I see my workflow history. So let me just assign a workflow here. So I assigned it. I see all of the actions that are scheduled to go out, the day that they're scheduled, the time that they're scheduled. This is also when a workflow is assigned where you can halt a workflow. So if someone emails, this is where you would halt the workflow. Same thing from the details page, you can halt the workflow. You can also resume a workflow here. Let's say you want to edit this specific action for this specific household. You can do that as well. This will not edit your entire workflow that's going on for everyone. This will only edit the workflow action for this specific household. Currently, Edith, I am just on my prospects call view page, my reviewed quill. And I clicked the little triangle to the left here. Now, the other place you can view this workflow history is on the details page. So here again, we have the workflow history. You're going to see all the history of workflows that workflow actions that have gone out. If an action has failed, you'll see a red exclamation point next to the status. You can hover over that red exclamation point and it will tell you why that action failed. Usually I only see that if it's a bad phone number maybe, or if you tried to assign a workflow to someone who you had the phone number listed in landline and not in mobile, it'll fail. We're only going to text the mobile number. The last history, so to speak, that I want to show you for the workflows is in the history tab. So this right here, you can actually see when the workflow was assigned to the household. You can see who assigned it. You can see if it was halted, if it was resumed. So this is more going to show you when the workflow was assigned, if it was removed, if it was halted, if it was resumed, and which staff member completed those actions. So that's in the history tab. The workflow tab is going to show you the actions history specifically. Okay. So with that being said, I think I covered everything about workflows. I'm open for questions now if you want to put them in the chat or in the Q&A. Let's see here. Notice there's a new feature to mass pipeline. Could you demo that? Yeah, Gabriella would love to. I actually, I know there's one agent who was using this mass pipeline and mass assign workflow kind of at the same time. So love to show you that. So right here in the update multiple households, we have the update workflows, and we also have update pipeline dates. So this is a new feature where you can mass pipeline households. So right here, if we click update pipeline dates, you're able to choose when you want to pipeline your selected households till. And you can confirm that you're going to pipeline those households. Oh, well, I forgot to select someone. Let me just select this person here. I'm going to pipeline them till tomorrow. Confirm that you want to pipeline them. You can't say, oops, I didn't mean to pipeline them. All right. So confirm. And there you go. Now that household has been pipelined till tomorrow. Another thing, let's click here. So let me assign a workflow and show you something else that you could do. So where am I? Nope. Let's just do one at a time. So I'm going to apply that. And what you could do here, so I'm going to bulk assign my workflows. But if you also want to bulk pipeline these people that you are mass assigning the workflow to, you can click this button that says Keep Household Selected, so that you don't have to go and re-click everyone or say, oh, who were the people that I just assigned it to? So you can keep the household selected, confirm, and then go in and pipeline everyone that you just assigned that workflow to. All right. Yes, Edith, we will post this on our help and support page. We'll post the recording of this webinar for you. And welcome to Agency MVP. API leads. Okay, so Gabriella, you're saying which one specifically? The pipeline one? I see. So bulk pipeline API leads. We will definitely put that in our feature requests. Now, remember, once your staff starts working the API leads, they are going to be assigned to them. So they're going to take ownership of them. So essentially, you could eventually choose that bulk pipeline option for API leads. Because if this is a new lead and I get Monty on the phone, I'm going to convert Monty to a lead. And now Monty is on my all leads callable page. And I do have that option there. But yes, thank you for your feedback, Gabriella. Any other questions on workflows? All right, welcome, Casey. Is there a particular workflow that includes Canopy Connect? Yes. Y'all, if you guys haven't checked out Canopy Connect, definitely have to. I love it. So let me show you how you can use that, Casey. There's two ways, but within a workflow, we have the Canopy Connect variable field right in here. So right here, Canopy Connect link, you can put that Canopy Connect link in a workflow and it will send that specific household and MVP, the Canopy Connect link that's assigned to them. So whenever they go and they fill it out, all that data will fill in for that household there. API acronym means, I want to say it's Application Programming Interface. And it basically just means two programs talking to each other. So MVP is talking to your lead provider is talking to MVP. You're welcome. What other questions on workflows? You need everything. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to hang out for another 5 minutes or so. If you guys think of any questions, we will be doing another one of these MVP lives next month. So be on the lookout for that topic. If you haven't already joined our Facebook group, please make sure you do so. It's a private group, and the name of that group is Agency MVP-Members Only. I will type it in the chat for you. Make sure you join that group so you can chat with everyone here that was on this call, and chat with other agents that are using MVP all around the U.S. Eric, yes, there is a document on our help and support page. So if you click your name at the top right and go to help and support, if you just type in Canopy Connect, you will see 2 documents here on how to set up the integration and then how to use the Canopy Connect integration. So step by step there so you can get your account set up. Where would this video be posted? So the recording of this webinar is going to be posted right here on the help and support page. If you just scroll down and find our MVP Live recorded webinars, that's where you will see these. We have some webinars that we've done in the past. This January 2023 one, this is the one I did last month. This is MVP Basics. I know there are several of you on the call that are new to Agency MVP, so I would highly recommend that you check out this webinar from last month. You're welcome. Yes, and don't forget, this help center, if you just type in any keyword, we most likely have an article or a video. We also have our live chat. So make sure if you guys have any questions, that's the best way to reach us. Here at the bottom right, you can access our live chat. Facebook, it is here. I'll put it on the screen as well. All right, here we go. So the name of that private Facebook group is Agency MVP-Members Only. So just search that on Facebook and you'll request to join. It'll ask you, I believe, 2 or 3 questions for you to join the group. All right. Well, again, I'll hang out for another 2 minutes. If you have no more questions, thanks for joining. John, thanks so much. John just put his email in the chat. Feel free to email him if you guys have any how-to type questions. He's really great with workflows. Thank you, John, for sharing your info. Thank you, Shay, for putting that link in the chat. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you next time.